All right, what's going on, guys? This is Logan with West Desert Wheeler. This morning we've got my Axial Capra out here. This is the original drag axle car. This is not a four-wheel steer version. This one's got my WDW micro winch mount under the hood as well, and it's also got some of my cut and shut tires, but these are the new cut and shuts from the new Proline Aztec tires that, I've got to be honest, have really been impressing me so far. So today in this video, we're going to go drive this thing. We're mostly going to focus on the tires and of course talk about whatever else pops up. Let's go check it out. All right, guys, so starting out with this little bonus climb here. I had made this with a few vehicles a long time ago, but it's been a long time since I've tried to drive up this again. And it's recently been raining out here, so it's slick. Okay, we kind of got the rear axle bellied out. Just need to be able to pull ourselves up and off of our skid and links here. Our right rear is just over here in a hole. But if I turn right for too long, it tries to like flip over. All right, just had to get a little happy with the throttle. But overall, for the traction available today, that first initial pull looked really good before it just bellied out on the axle, which once you're diffed out, that's not really a tire's problem. Yeah, we're not going anywhere from there, are we? Nice little save. So these tires I've posted up online as well as my previous cut and shut video, and everybody wanted to know what wheels these are. These are from Vision RC and they are a 2.2 wheel. Unfortunately, I don't remember the wheel face design name, but you can find them over at Vision RC if you think you've got to have a set of these. They had sent these out for my my favorite mods to Axial Capra video, which if you have an Axial Capra and you want to know what my advice is on how to build it, that is my whole answer there. So I will just send you a link to that video. I recently had to do that for somebody, which, you know, I always like talking RCs, but that's a great reason that I made that video, is just to really make it easy. Nice little Spider-Man job here, clinging to the walls, a little off-camber bit. Oh, ooh, settle that rear, nice and planted. And then those shocks are basically filled with syrup, so those react really slow like they did, but that's how I like my car to act. All right, here's a line I haven't done in a long time. On this incline, and then you got to go up this ledge, and just having the traction to push all the way up this means a lot. Just because there's nothing to hook onto up top, I kind of had to drive around that ledge a little bit, but it did pull up pretty decent. But like I say, guys, I'm really liking these tires so far. So the tread pattern itself is a directional chevron. So it's similar to a Maxxis Trepador, if you're familiar with that. But these tires from Proline are made thinner than the Trepadors. And so I think they're just gonna respond a lot better. They're just gonna bite better. The Trepador's tread blocks are quite thick, and they never got the flat surface traction like my other Proline tires did. I really like the looks of them, and then the cut and shut form, they're one of my tallest ones, so that's really nice. These guys turn out to a 5.25, just like the crawlers. So what we gotta do is we gotta run up and around this wall and shoot it. So let's see if we can get it on our first try here. Ah, almost saved that. You can sit here a long time and bang your car off the rocks to try and get it to go up this. Oh, she got up there and stuck it. See if we can get her to pull. Keep pulling. Keep going. You can hear my little drive shaft squeaking in there. All right, nice steep pull there. And we got the little rocking around the bowl area. That's always been a really fun one and also very challenging. That one's not easy. So the drag axle Capra, meaning the non four-wheel steer one, has been gone for a while. Who still has one? Because I converted multiple to four-wheel steer before four-wheel steer was an option. And honestly, I've only ever had one four-wheel steer Capra. All my other ones I've just made a four-wheel steer Capra. Now the cage design is slightly different on the back, so that's one way you can tell if the cage was originally a four-wheel steer or not. And we did. Okay, so let's try the left line. It's essentially the bypass to this. You go up here, and you just kind of go around it. Not quite getting as much forward push as we need. Our rears seem to get very tripped up by little ledges controlling the direction of the car. But I don't know if I can blame the tire on that. I mean, that's just kind of how rock crawling works. Let's see if we can like do an alternate line here of some kind. That's really steep over here. Yeah, that's probably not happening. That was a cute little tip over. What you saw there with that back tire picking up like that, that's a lot of overdrive in the front when you go into reverse. The front outruns the rear, and so it tries to back up faster than the rear does, and it causes weird things to happen. Of all the good things overdrive does, it's also doing the exact same amount of bad things in reverse. There she goes. Got that hook, trying to get this rear around this little ledge, just slide it along carefully and then turn back into it, pull the belly over. Beautiful. This car is just fun to drive, man. Maybe some steering wiggling. Yep. All that overdrive helping pull the nose up and over. Didn't really upset the car. That looked pretty good. Just walking around looking for some other obstacles to drive on, and saw some of the local desert horned owls. These things are awesome. Grabbed a quick little video for my Instagram. Be sure to follow me at West Desert Wheeler. This is a fun little V-notch. You kind of just gotta work your way along this right side and find a way up. Very loose and rocky over here. Squeeze that rear end around there. Now there is another thing I've changed to this car that I haven't talked about yet, and it is the rear shock mounts on this. Oh, that rear end's just trying to straighten us up again. Rear shock mounts take the axle mount and essentially mounts the bottom of the shock wider out, giving your shocks an outward angle towards the axle. This is entirely common on full-size cars, and almost no RCs have outward shock angle. Nothing like really noticeable, which I've always found very weird, because the shock sitting on an angle like this helps stabilize the car on off-camber stuff. So the fact that RCs don't have that when the real cars do is very interesting. Oh dear. I think she's all right, but that wasn't good. This car's taken multiple big tumbles like that without breaking an axle housing yet, and it's very surprising. Usually something like that will break your axle. Very common failure point on the Axial Capras. Fortunately, they're inexpensive, but it's just kind of annoying to replace the axle. You got to pull it all off. If you got servos on it, remove that, swap all your bearings and shafts and diff. And I've done it plenty of times. And typically, if it's a steer axle, you end up breaking a steer knuckle too. So you have to buy a set of those. Woo! Just about did a backflip there. Again. Left rear is trying to go under that ledge. I'll try and make it go over the ledge. Try a different angle. Lots of articulation in this car. I've got the long tracks of shocks on there. I think they're like the 2661s or something. I forget the numbers. And then they've got the Losi Mini T-springs on it. And then it's got Desert RC 3D printed shock cup mounts for it. So that's what holds the spring, or I guess spring cup mounts is what it has. That's what holds the springs lower on the shock. It allows your spring to fully compress and allows your shock full travel. And it gives you a lower ride height. So definitely check out Desert RC store for that. They're very inexpensive, small, simple part. It's one of the few pieces I trust to be 3D printed. And you can get them at Desert RC. Cameron is a friend, so definitely be sure to go over there and support his shop. Now, as I alluded to earlier, with me being not good with shocks, Cameron is really good with shocks. And his rigs are always dialed in. Oh. Okay, we got the left rear up. Now our right rear is trying to drop into a hole. Our front left's in the air. I don't know that I can. Damn. There are obstacles out here on the mountain that don't look hard and are just stupid hard. This is one of them. This does not look like it should be that difficult. And it's given me a fight for years now. I don't know if I've ever gotten up this. I don't even want my rear end over there. I'm trying to get it around it. Pull overdrive, not happening. On the right side, there's too many ledges. On the left side, there's too big of a ledge at the top. And up here, it rotates your car to the right. It's this perfect balance of, I don't want you to make it. All right, here we go. So now we got to see if we can just find a different way out of there. Like I say, you gotta drive around and, oh, that's light. Find your way around this mountain. And this is a big climb. I'd actually driven up this crack down here to our left in a real car. And it wasn't my own car. It was a day that I was fortunate enough to borrow a red dot. Thank you very much, Mike. And I was able to come over here and try and drive up this crack. And that car made easy work of it as long as I did my part. That red dot is so badass, man. LS3, 40 spline axles, just badass. It's got everything, the best of everything. This is a cool little spot. Trying to use my steering to get that right rear to drop in a little more. That worked. That's where I want to be. Nice and steep, starting to flex out a little bit. Should be able to come up and turn left. Perfect. Perfect. That worked out really nice. See if we can just turn this into a harder climb for no reason. Come on, pull. There it is, killer. Good stuff. All right guys, right now I don't remember the name of these shock mounts, but I will talk to who got them to me and get you guys a name for them if it's an available product. They're CNC'd, they also make a brass version as well. I don't know if they came to market with these or not, but I will find out and let you know on screen. I tried these mounts on other custom builds, but the other custom builds I tried them on didn't allow for the angle outward. The top ball would get bound up. So they didn't work on anything else but this stock Capra that I found. Now I'm just bellied out. I'm trying to get the fronts over the belly. Trying to bump it past being bellied out and get enough traction to pull it up. See if we can go over into the corner and pull it up through there. It's got a better hook, but I'm bellied really hard in here. Now I'm digging a hole. Ah, that was looking promising. All right, odds are not looking good. You're gonna try and bump it a few more times. It just looks so good as you crawl right there. Like, multiple times it looked like I was gonna pull it. So close. All right, we finally got up. There it is. I think this is the first car to go up that. Sick. Can't crawl everything, but we drove out the top. Here we are, faced with a pretty good sized ledge. Gonna belly out. Ooh, just enough. Looked like it wanted to pull for a second. Get that right rear up, come on. A little bump again. Nice, nothing crazy. This crack has always been really fun because it's just weird. Everything is off camber. So this wall on the left is over vertical. So you end up running the crack balanced, but you're sideways. And then you're almost full sidewall on that passenger side. Usually I do this with four-wheel steer. Yeah, that right rear is not gonna let us out of there. Let's try it one more time. It's not looking very hopeful, honestly. That's it. And right here, I just kind of wiggle my steering just slightly, left and right, just to break that sidewall traction and help the car come through. Now my left rear is getting too much traction and it's trying to make my car backflip. And so you can sit here and do 38 backups and try and get her to go, which is probably what we're gonna do. Another thing you can do is just kind of throttle blips, little ones, to try and break the traction that way as well. Man, very, very technical here. Like, you really got to nail the line to get that. Like I said, it took me a bunch of backups, a lot of steering inputs, a lot of throttle input. And there it is. We did a drag axle. Looking good for the Capra. Oh yeah, we got D's Company shock bands on the front of this thing. I run those on the front of all my Capras and strongly recommend them. Did you guys know that in every single one of my videos I leave a link to the WDW merch store, so you can pick up a t-shirt or a hoodie or a few other little goofy things with my brand logo on them. I guess that thing was under a little tension there. Let's try that one again. But you can get cool designs like my standard West Desert Wheeler design or the cut and shut design. You can get that on a shirt if you guys want to wear that around town. Let people know that you're a nerd like me. But it looks cool, so you're a cool nerd. Which I am not, I'm just a nerd. Here we go. Bring it back over this way. Front left is in the air. Buggy things. Perfect. That was a cool line. Here we go. So, as far as the Flysky GT5 issue I had mentioned in a previous video with my steering being all stupid, I got a bunch of comments from other people saying that theirs did the exact same thing. So, I honestly feel kind of bad that I've pushed them as hard as I have, now knowing how many people are having issues with them. That does suck. I still say that it's the best position for rear steer on a controller. That's just what I've grown so used to, and I like it a lot. I haven't found another controller that I'm like, oh, that's pretty good. Just the GT5 with the rear steer knob right up top works the best for me. So I do feel bad that so many people have had issues with them, and I'm sorry if I persuaded you to get one and you're unhappy with your purchase. But as far as the ergonomics go, I still stand behind that. That's the way to go. People have asked if I've fixed mine. I have not. I tore mine apart and messed with it. Didn't really find any way I could change anything. So I just went back to my old GT5, which has play in the steering, so it's hard to center my steering. And it's got play because I've used it so much. Cannot find a line up this. So it's got play in it, and so it's not really any better off other than my steering is still smooth. Not making it up that one. This really highlights one thing I love about Sand Hollow, and that is that the sand moves around, and so it makes the obstacles change. This climb right here used to be like crazy steep and one of the hardest ones to get up, and right now I can just drive right into it. I mean, you used to have to like get a hook and get the car to pull its way all the way up to here, and then you have to fight your way over the top, which you're still gonna have to fight your way over the top on this one, but it's crazy that I'm sitting on the ground right now. It used to be like 8 inches below the car. Not quite. This is a fun line though. These ledges up top are not easy. And I found multiple different ways to get through it. And there's one of them. But that used to be one of my like gold standard tests to see if a car was working good, is to see if it could drive up that. So apparently the Capra's working good, even if I didn't have to climb up the bottom part. Well, all right, guys, that's going to wrap it up for me and my Axial Capra out here today. I hope you enjoyed coming along out here crawling in Sand Hollow with me, Logan, at West Desert Wheeler. I greatly appreciate your guys' time. Be sure to follow me on Instagram. Check out the description for all sorts of fun links to the things mentioned in the video. We will see you guys next time. Keep the rubber side down.